Episode 8, the Season 1 finale of Rabbit Hole, titled Ace in the Hole, is 53 minutes long, and it's quite a season finale. Now, after all of this entire season, the twists, the turns, the espionage, the internet, the government, what is real, what is not real, and we finally figure out what's fact and not fake. We start off with someone being kidnapped, and we're just like, who is this woman being held? And we don't know who it is. We then go into the detail that we see that the opening sequences of this episode, the season finale, we see an old man with an oxygen tube in his nose going and looking through a computer, and he's actually kind of doing this kind of espionage act where he is going into people's lives and files through the internet and trying to sabotage them. And we find out later on in this episode, this man uses it to gain control over other people and just to frame them and do everything. And then we start the episode where we see Weir and his team trying to figure out what's going on. But then find out that 3 judges were killed, and it's like, what is happening? And we see that Crowley is doing everything. Now, Weir puts in motion a new plan. We then get little tidbits or timestamps of everything that starts at 7:30 in the morning that ends up at like about 4 p.m. So all this time from 7 to 4, we get little tidbits in this 1 hour episode of what's happening. Well, the kind of team, they go with this plan. It's the Hom plan, and yes, Hom is a plan. The plan is to show that Hom is actually alive and to get one step ahead of Crowley. They do that. Now, Ben, John's father, goes to the ex-wife's house to protect her. Haley takes Hom to go somewhere, but before this, Weir meets with a news anchor for one of the big major news corporations and says, all this evidence is right here. Here's what you have. I can prove that Hom is alive. Well, that happens, and then Weir gets arrested by Agent Maddie. We then find out Haley tells Weir what happened and everything, and this puts the plan in motion. The entire aspect of this sequence is absolutely crazy, especially when you find out the twists and the turns. Well, Hom loves the fame, and Ed is not dead, which is what this espionage kind of radio host on the internet is doing, and like a YouTube person. And Hom jumps out of the moving car in front of everyone who thinks that he's not dead, and he's just like loves that limelight. Haley's like, no, you have to stay on schedule. We have to do something. We have to do certain things. So then we see Weir trying to escape the FBI building. Well, he does that with the help of Agent Maddie. It's like, what the hell's going on? So, we find out that there was an attachment that was sent to Agent Maddie through the email. She opens it up and she sees Hom's face and then a number that is written on a notepad by Weir. She calls it. John picks up and says, listen, you know part of your agency is a part of this whole entire plan. And she's like, yeah, I don't like it, but what's your plan? So Weir was one step ahead of everything. Then find out that Ben Wilson, Charles Dance's character, Weir's father and ex-wife, is taken to see this older gentleman who we saw at the beginning of this episode. Turns around, and it's actor Lance Henriksen in a guest starring role. I feel like, and I believe, he is actually Crowley in this episode, and not Peter Weller. Peter Weller is not Crowley at all. Nor, I think Peter Weller was getting much more intel from Lance Henriksen's character, so Crowley is Lance Henriksen. What a co-star to have, in this, and just seeing how everything works, because Crowley is only mentioned by name in conversation. We don't actually see someone mention him face to face or up front in person. So that's all happening. And Crowley thinks he has the upper hand. He tells Kyle, the intern, to go kill Hom, but it's stopped by Weir and Haley. And then, all of a sudden, Crowley gets this information from a security guard, gives him a gun and everything. And then we find out that the big twist of this entire season is that who you think Weir's what ex-wife is not. The woman who is John's ex-wife is actually the woman who was kidnapped. The woman and the who you think is the ex-wife is the one who went to go save the ex-wife. Yeah, I know, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty shocking to realize. And so Ben figures out like he was out of the loop with everything because Weir didn't put him into this information, or kind of in a way change the narrative. How he said, keep one step ahead of the narrative and you can actually figure things out. So then the broadcast goes through with Ham, and Ham says, listen, we found all this thing with all the money, the social media, the internet, whatever you put out there, your information, you think you can trust it, but you really, really can't. And then it just ends like that. And then you think Weir's going to get arrested by Maddie, but no. Haley kind of made a deal with Agent Maddie in a few episodes ago where said, okay, here's the information I need, but I instead of arresting Weir, arrest my former boss that I stole $26 million of cryptocurrency. So Agent Maddie's like, yeah, okay, sure. And Weir didn't find out, didn't know. And then the final scene is we see that the character of supposedly Crowley now has an earpiece again. Ben puts the earpiece in and he goes like, oh no, like he lets out a sigh, and then that's the end of the episode, and that's the season. If I missed anything, I apologize because it's so much to dissect in this season of Rabbit Hole. 8-episode first season. Fingers crossed this gets a second season. But then if it does get a second season, how's it progress? Where do you go? What do you do? How do you expand everything? I mean, is there a higher person or a higher power that's leading everything? And the whole aspect of Haley, who she was, I was dead wrong. The whole thing with Edward Ham, and then who actually Crowley is. I feel like Lance Henriksen's character was actually Crowley, not Peter Weller's character. I feel like Peter Weller was working for Lance Henriksen's character. So, I mean, it's like, or, could they both be Crowley? Like a pseudonym, this guy's Crowley, that one's out of the picture, and then this guy's Crowley that takes over when someone else is gone or dead. Really, really fun. The writing is magnificent. What a acting performances, especially seeing Charles dance in this. Kiefer Sutherland is really, really great. It's a different take on the spy thriller espionage feeling of a show. Rob Yang as Edward Ham was okay. He played the depressed, down on his luck person being killed and being held hostage, but then knowing that he's now free because he can say that he's alive. You can see the relief when he's on the news and actually saying everything. The intern Kyle was annoying, didn't really give a shit about his character, and he just goes off into the sunset or something like that when Weir says, don't worry about him. And other than that, I mean, the aspect of having Miles Valance, his best friend, in only a few episodes was really impactful, but then coming back later and saying how everything happens, and everything just works for this show. There are some moments where it's like, wait a minute, what's happening? You're the most wanted person in the world right now, but you're walking around free daylight. Edward Ham is supposed to be dead, but he's here and there also. Haley's with it, and he, like, there are some, like, if, ands, or buts, but then somehow it clears itself up in a way. This was a fun series. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's really, really well done. The whole cat and mouse game, the mysterious aspect of the murder, the spying, the social media, it makes you think about what information you put out there, who sees it, who can use it against you, why they would use it against you, and how everyday life is just changing. It's just absolutely mind-blowing how the creators of this show created something like this and actually stayed one step ahead with every episode, especially doing the twists and turns and then setting it in the present day, and then also going to a flashback which then covers the present day story, also finishing up the flashback story. Mind blown. Absolutely frigging mind blown. For me, Rabbit Hole gets 5 out of 5 stars. Season 1 was phenomenal. It was great. It's streaming now on Paramount Plus. All episodes are on there. It's 8 episodes. All episodes last between 42 to 56 minutes long. Quick watches. You can watch it in one day, one weekend, however else you want to binge it, or however you binge it. And if you like spy thrillers, if you like Kiefer Sutherland, if you loved 24, Designated Survivor, this is a show for you. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see Kiefer Sutherland again, hopefully, fingers crossed, in a new season or another season of Rabbit Hole. If not, this was kind of a good way to end it. But the way it ended, I feel like there will be a second season. And I'll be really, really happy when I read, or hopefully, or if I read, that the Rabbit Hole second season has been greenlit by Paramount. Paramount needs to greenlight this. I feel like people are watching it, but not many people are talking about it. But people will talk about it now. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about Rabbit Hole Season 1. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the first season being 8 episodes? What episode was your favorite? What episode was your least favorite? Who was your favorite character? Who was your least favorite character? And did you like the aspect of seeing Peter Weller in it, as well as Lance Hendrickson? And who do you think is actually Crowley? Do you think one of them is Crowley, or is someone else Crowley? What do you think about Kiefer Sutherland being in another government spy thriller espionage series? And what do you think is going to happen now? And do you think a story like this or something like this could happen in the real world? Or is it already happening? Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked about Rabbit Hole Season 1. And let me know what rating you would give Season 1 of Rabbit Hole. And be sure you click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for new review videos on my channel. I'll see you all in the next review video, and I thank you and I appreciate you tuning in weekly for my weekly episodic reviews of Rabbit Hole. I will see you all next time.